This right here is Nikita Kucherov, who back in 2019 would set a modern high record of 128 points.
Slips it ahead, Kucherov's got it, he cuts in, forced to the backhand, he scores! Hands it off to Kucherov, splits two Bruins, cuts it along, score!
And this Tampa Bay team would dominate the regular season, as they would finish with 62 wins. Yet, they would suffer from the horrid President's Trophy curse. One of the most dominant teams in NHL history will get swept in the first round against the last place seed in the Columbus Blue Jackets. And keep in mind, during the regular season, Tampa would sweep the Blue Jackets, and not only that, in the three matchups, they would outscore them 17-3. And this right here is Patrice Bergeron, playing out his final season for the Bruins in the 22-23 season. And not only did Patrice Bergeron take home his sixth Selke trophy, the Boston Bruins would have the greatest season in NHL history, as they would finish with an unbelievable 65 wins, 135 points. However, after going up in the series 3-1, they would lose in Game 7 to the Florida Panthers. The Panthers this season barely made it into the playoffs. The Bruins were one of the greatest teams ever assembled in the Cap era, but we would witness the infamous President's Trophy curse. Because if you follow hockey, you have most likely heard this saying in the past. A team has a phenomenal regular season only to get upset in the playoffs. But here's the thing, what does this even mean? Does the curse actually exist? Why do we hear this saying? On this graphic, we have the combined round wins of the previous 10 President's Trophy winning teams. And well, as we can see, the best regular season teams would win a grand total of 9 playoff rounds in a 10-year span, and they would fail to make it past the conference finals, meaning we have seen on average 0.9 round wins, which is fascinating. The best regular season teams averaging less than 1 round win speaks volume to how if you make the playoffs, it's anyone's game. Or does it? Because on the right side of this graphic, we have the last 10 teams who finished second in the standings, or the runner-up to the President's Trophy. And not only did we see 17 round wins, but they would take home 2 Stanley Cups, which means on average, they have won nearly double the playoff rounds than the President's Trophy winner. But okay, maybe this is just a coincidence or fluke, but no, we are not done here. This next discovery was mind-blowing. Now on the right side of this graphic, we have the previous 10 teams, who were the last team to make it into the playoffs. So if the top 16 teams make it in, these teams were 16th place. And well, here are the results. Not only did the last team in win more playoff rounds than the President's Trophy winners, no, they would make it to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times, and on average win 1.2 rounds. This discovery is absurd and speaks volume to what is the President's Trophy curse. Like seriously, to put this into perspective, if some of these teams even lost a single overtime game, they don't even make the playoffs. Not only that, these teams had to face off against the top teams in round 1. So right off the bat, the odds are stacked against them. But it still begs the question, why? From this visual, you could basically confirm that the President's Trophy curse does in fact exist. These teams would dominate the competition in the regular season. So why in the hell would this translate to 0 success in the playoffs? Well, if we take a look at the 2019 Tampa run, this team faced nearly 0 adversity. Little to no injuries, every bounce was going in. They had the top player and goalie in the league. At no point in the season did Tampa lose more than 2 games in a row. They were consistently dominating even the best teams in the league. And so you might be asking, how is this a bad thing? This right here is a prime example on how impactful the psychology of a hockey player truly is. Because in the past, the most successful teams leading up to the playoffs would experience the perfect balance of dominance combined with adversity, as dominance leads to confidence, but in the same breath, adversity leads to discomfort. And for the teams who are real contenders, they will use discomfort to get to the next level. Let's even look at Toronto, because in a Sens Leafs matchup, we would witness one of the most absurd plays I have ever seen. No injuries, YouTube. No injuries. The NHL would lay the hammer on Morgan Riley. What do you think of the Leafs? Let's be honest, nobody, and I mean nobody, thinks of defense. Defense and the Maple Leafs are not synonymous. So with their number 1 defenseman out of the lineup for 5 games, this incident could have been make or break for the Leafs season. As around this time, the Leafs were on the bubble of a wildcard spot. However, this adversity would lead Toronto to going to the next level. as they are now on a 6-game winning streak. Look at a guy like Austin Matthews, whose game is dependent on focus. This man now has 10 goals in his last 5 games. And with that being said, the timing of this adversity is crucial for a team to make a cup run. At the start of the season, the Edmonton Oilers would implode, as they went from cup favorites to being in contention for Macklin Celebrini. But because this adversity took place at the start of the season, they would have an entire season to fix their issues, which would lead to one of the longest winning streaks in NHL history.
4-1 Edmonton, 16 wins in a row.
So if this happens at the end of the season, it's game over. Or even look at Vegas's run last season, as they would come out of the gate hot with a 13-3 record. In the middle of the season, they would experience adversity, where they would go on a 16-9 stretch. These issues would be corrected by the end of the season, where they would go on to win a Stanley Cup in a dominant fashion. And the same thing could be said about the Avs Cup run, as they would start the season with a losing record. They would experience key injuries to guys like McKinnon and Landeskog, but over the course of the season, they would fix their issues and go on to win a Stanley Cup. The Avalanche and Knights would have the perfect amount of dominance to boost their confidence, but at the same time, they would also experience adversity to keep them hungry. But the same thing can't be said about the Canucks. In the last several years, they have experienced so much adversity with little to no dominance that it would destroy their team morale and any potential of a playoff run. This season, however, they have switched the script, as they have dominated this season with little to no adversity. However, the past couple weeks, they have been struggling. But remember, this is about timing, as the Canucks made a lot of ground cementing a playoff spot in the first half and have now hit a wall. Like seriously, their recent matchup against the Wild is the epitome of this video. As we would in the second period, specifically in the second period, many teams will begin to let their foot off the gas, even if it's subconscious, even the best teams' minds. Yes, we would see some very questionable penalties being called. What is this? But because in the third period, Wild would score 7 goals. You heard that right? 7 goals. Complacency leads to lapses in focus. But if anything, the Canucks are a series from this adversity. Now, this is complacency on a small level, but without a doubt, this mindset leads to complacency, which results in the President's Trophy curse. As the President's Trophy winner is just the best team who would face the lowest amount of adversity. The channel just hit 100,000 subscribers. Are you kidding me? Thank you guys so much for all of the support, as this channel has gone through so many evolutions. When I started this channel, I was making news videos in my closet, and now we just hit a milestone I've been dreaming about since I was 10 years old. So thank you again to everyone who has supported the channel. We have a brand new product release on the RTH store, which is the Connor McDavid Collectors Box. And my goodness, this is hands down the best release to date, as you have a great chance of pulling a McDavid the Cup Auto, 2 McDavid rookies, or even this beautiful Pedersen patch auto, as each box comes with a guaranteed hit in a sealed hockey box, which also includes a chance of getting a 15-16 Series 1 tin. This single tin has a $600 value, as it's a set that may contain a McDavid Young Guns. So, if you want to support the channel, check out the link down below, and as always, thanks for watching.